Finally, we have Tommi, who is going to talk about a business that he has built. When he started, it was a manufacturing company. He's built it into a high-end fashion house, and he's delivering the product to high-end designers in Paris, in New York. And with that, I would like to introduce Tommi. Will Mr. August please report to the stage?
I will start my speech while I get this technical help. Is this microphone working? It's better now. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm the last speaker of this session and the whole conference. I want to say that I'm very honored that I was invited to speak here as a representative of industry. I have a master's degree in textile and clothing engineering from the University of Technology in Tampere, Finland. But unfortunately, during the time when I graduated, there took place some major changes in the marketplace in the northern part of Europe, which affected very much the Finnish textile industry. Namely, the former Soviet Union collapsed and Finland lost the main trade partner at the same time. It meant that after I graduated, I didn't have very much job opportunities. I was working 3 years for a consulting company who was trying to help Finnish industrialists to relocate their operations to lower cost countries. And after the Baltic countries got the independence around 1991-1992, I moved on to Lithuania after checking the other possibilities that came around, namely Estonia, Latvia, and St. Petersburg area in Russia. I decided to establish my operations in Lithuania as I found there the whole production pipeline from the spinning up to the ready-made garment production. During this time I didn't have a very clear idea myself what I wanted to do. My background was in production management of sewing articles. Today I'm running a knitting factory, so I'm not exactly in my field, but there were a lot of coincidences during the past 10 years which have affected the role of my business, what I'm doing today. I wanted to describe the background because it gives the argumentation why we are doing the strategic decisions what we are doing today, and why we have found our market in the high fashion segment of clothing articles. My paper, cannot see the whole text, unfortunately. The full text is on the CD-ROM. I will not cover all the topics during my speech because we don't have too much time. But I will cover most time the topic of supply chain management and the cooperative business processes, how they are called in the academic world, and I will try to explain how we are doing this today with our customers, which happen to be today mainly in Paris, and what kind of ideas we have made in order to move this communication to a digital way in order to have a more quick response to the changing market situations. The photo images which are shown on my slideshow, they show some designs of the collection that we are doing by ourselves. The designer is my living partner, Tiina Mattio, who is a Finnish person as well. This collection we are exporting all over the world, namely Japan and United States being the main exporting countries. I show also later one image of a design of our customers, one of the customers. And before I go to the next slide, I want to explain that I'm a knitting factory. We are buying the yarns today mainly in Italy. We make the knitted garment with flatbed knitting machines. We knit everything into shape so we have no cutting waste. And the business activities are divided into two different sectors. As I mentioned, the images which are shown over here, it describes our home collection, but we are selling directly to shops in different parts of the world, so there are no middlemen. I'm doing the sales personally by myself, and I take care of the press relations as well. The images have been published in some fashion magazines, mostly in northern part of Europe. Main volume in our production is done to the fashion houses in Paris, and this cooperation I will describe during this speech. In this work, we start the collection development from scratch. It means that the designer shows only a sketch, and our job is to give some kind of support and production input with comments and proposals for her in order to find finally the exact silhouette and fitting and form what the designer wanted to have. This covers almost 95% of our production volume, and this kind of production we are shipping to the customer's logistic center. Today they are situated mainly in France, and they are shipping them in their turn to the different shops all over the world. Personally, when we speak about the digital communication, I think that the main potential is in the business-to-business sector, and to what extent ever we can make the production itself more efficient. There is so much more to work in the communication technology that we can have more quick decisions and respond more quickly to the changes in the marketplace, and that's why I have put more effort in this field compared to make our production operations more efficient. It's not our sector. This speech, as I mentioned already, the structure is like a case study. I'm describing who we are. I already did that. I mentioned that we are a manufacturing company of flat-bed knitted garments. We run today 3-gauge, 5-gauge, 7-gauge, and we are investing during this year to 12-gauge equipment. We knit everything into shape so we don't lose any material. This enables us to buy the more expensive, finer qualities of yarns from Italy. The yarn choices are done mainly by the customer. They are proposing something to us, and our job is to make a comment if it's applicable to the product or not after making some tests and trials. We, as we heard yesterday from the speech of a gentleman from Werner company, after a few years there will be major changes in the marketplace in the world regarding textile flow of without any trade barriers. So we don't want to try to compete with the suppliers in China and the big capacity countries. So we have chosen our niche in the high fashion segment who want to have support in the product development, and even if our customers are rather famous, the lot sizes per style are not extremely high. We are a regular supplier today to LVMH group that includes companies like Louis Vuitton, Givenchy, Kenzo, Christian Dior, Lacroix, Celine, and so on. In addition to this, we have in the past or present produced companies like Sebastian, Balenciaga, Yves Saint Laurent, etc. So even if they are very famous brand names and with global sales, the volumes per style, they are not huge. We are talking about sometimes from some unique garments that are extremely expensive to order sizes between 200 pieces up till 1,000. And actually today I'm not interested to take bigger order sizes because we are not doing this business. I think I have to skip some points in order to keep the time schedule. I will later on come to the main issue of this supply chain management or demand chain management topic. And we have now made some preliminary decision on the software supplier who we will use in the investment in this area. The main customer we have in France offers us today already the so-called web-based EDI option. It means that we have an interface, we are giving them all the time the production status information so everybody in France can check whenever they want when we have received the yarns in our stock, when we decided to put them on the production, and when we expect to have the ready-made deliveries of production. This helps them to plan their collection deliveries to different shops because they have suppliers in 13 different countries all over the world, and in order to build out the packages to different shops, they must have this help. And on my side, I get also the information on when yard deliveries are supposed to come to my factory. I'm supplying a full price garment to these customers. It means that I'm buying the yarn, but because they are more powerful buyer than my small knitting factory, so they take care of the purchasing negotiations with the Italian suppliers. I get this delivery time confirmations via internet by my customer. I want to offer this option to all of my customers. That's why I have started to develop the same ideology that I'm now working with my one customer, that I want to have an open digital architecture that I can invite anybody who wants to be my customer and to work in the same way that the people can log in and check the order status information anytime it's convenient for them. Later on, maybe it would be possible also to connect the different shops to our systems with a point of sales information, because it's not too difficult to do with the technology which is available today. This slide I have already explained it to a big extent. I mentioned that I'm a Finn, even though I'm talking on behalf of my Lithuanian company here today. I explained the changes in the marketplace, what made me to move on from Finland. What I want to mention about Lithuania, in addition to this, that there is a strong textile pipeline background. This was one motivation why I wanted to relocate myself in Lithuania. Another is that it's very near to the European marketplace. We can have the yarn deliveries from Italy in 2 days, and we can make the export shipments to France during the same day, because we are using air cargo shipments all the time. Also, Lithuania is supposed to join the European community after a couple of years, and today already we have no trade restrictions with our exports to EU. Coming to the topic of managing the supply chain, I have to go through the main drivers what affect the business of my company in order to find the best solution of this software supplier to my purpose. The main drivers I have already mentioned is the time factor, also the fact that my business partners want to have a very close relation with me in order to have exactly the product that they need in the time when they need. I believe that the concept of quick response is not today anymore. The concept of sequential functions, as it was in the academic literature mentioned to be in the 1990s. I believe myself that it's a complex of interlocking factors, and the consumer is in the focal point. It also means that one person has to master many different kind of competencies. In my small company and factory, I have employed only people who can take care of not one niche kind of job, but one day when maybe I'm not in the place, they can take care of the customer contact from the beginning until the end. So, in my view, this means that we require a different kind of expertise in our personnel compared to the traditional matrix kind of organization. I will skip some points what I was thinking of mentioning during this speech. the software solution that we have decided to start to develop, it means that in this kind of business circumstances, I want to have a solution that enables the cross-functional access to the data regardless location, department of the.
Unfortunately, obviously, we have to stop as the buses are waiting inside. I'm sorry, Tommy, that we have to cut it short. The buses are waiting to take people back to the hotel. Please join me in thanking all the people that stayed here. Thank you all for coming. It's